Hey there, John Morris here, johnmorrisonline.com. This lesson we're going to be talking about the master strategy. So there is a strategy, right? I think that's a thing a lot of developers, they kind of go out and they're just like, or a lot of freelancers, they go out and they're just like kind of just winging it. And I get it because it's not, I mean, I did that when I first started. It's not something that we're taught how to do or any of that sort of thing. But you do want to eventually develop a coherent strategy and approach to how you're doing that. And I believe from my experience, both my own experience and then other people that I've worked with and taught this to, that the particular strategy that I'm going to talk with you about today can be incredibly effective, especially for someone who's new to the platform and doesn't necessarily have a huge portfolio and a big client base and that sort of thing. So I think the situation a lot of freelancers starting out find themselves in. I don't have a network, I don't have clients, I don't have a big portfolio, but I know I can deliver, I know I'm good at coding. How do I get started getting clients? Okay, and so that's what this strategy is really aimed at. And we're going to be taking a look at some stuff here on Upwork to kind of to show you this, both why I think this strategy is the best and then how to actually do it. And then the rest of what we talk about throughout this course is going to help you kind of fill in all of that strategy and actually implement it. All right, so the strategy here is really kind of it's a 3-step approach. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to start out by positioning yourself as a small niche specialist. And we'll talk about that, what that means here in a second. When you do that, then you're going to use that because you'll have an advantage, and we'll talk about what that is here in a second. You're going to use that to build up your portfolio and your job history to actually expand and grow that job history and that portfolio. That is the thing that you don't have right now that all these other freelancers on here do that makes it hard for you to compete against them. So you're going to build that up, and then as you build it up, then you can start to basically expand up out of a small niche into a little bit larger niche, and then maybe a little bit larger one after that, and so forth. All right, so it's really you go in very laser targeted, which gives you an advantage, and then you build up the thing that you need, which is job history and portfolio, and then and job success rate, and then you expand out from there, and you're able to grow and appeal to a larger client base and get more work as a result of that. All right, so let's talk about first why I think this works. So if we come over here to a freelancer search, I'm in my client account, and I just did a search for WooCommerce. If you're not familiar, WooCommerce is a WordPress plugin. It basically turns your WordPress site into an e-commerce shop. That's what it's designed for. And so when we talk about being a niche, right? What we mean by that is you have kind of the big space of web development. A lot of people just market themselves as web developers and say, well, I know HTML, CSS, this, that, the other, right? But that's really general, and it doesn't really speak to the client's language in terms of, they're not really thinking in terms of languages for the most part. They're thinking in terms of end products. What's the thing I want built? I want an e-commerce site. Right, so and I want it built with WooCommerce or whatever. So you have this big space of web development. Within that, right, you have WordPress. WordPress is one segment of the overall web development market. And then within that, you have WooCommerce, because WooCommerce is only one plugin, and there's thousands of WordPress plugins out there. So that's what we mean when we say a niche. We're not going after web development. We're not even going after WordPress. We're going after a really small subset called WooCommerce. And so we're looking for clients who want e-commerce sites built using WooCommerce. And so if I do that search over here as a client, remember this is my client account, and then I've done some filters here. So I've filtered for the freelancers that have earned 10K or more. They have a job success rate of 90% and up, and they're independent freelancers. They're not the agencies or whatever. Right? So we're looking in terms of the freelancers that offer this sort of thing, that appeal to this WooCommerce search here. We're looking at kind of the cream of the crop. And this is one of the things that I recommend that you do, is that you go on here and do these sorts of searches and look at what these people are doing. Do these filters. Look at the ones that are earning the most, having the highest job success rate, and look at their picture, their title, their tags, what they're writing for their descriptions, and so forth. And you want to model success. So find the successful people on these sites and look at what they're doing. Now, what you'll notice here is that a lot of these have WooCommerce right in their title. WooCommerce, this one doesn't. WooCommerce, 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 this one doesn't. WooCommerce, and this one doesn't. Okay, so although this one has e-commerce, but you can see most of these. There's 7 that have WooCommerce in their title, and there's 3 that don't. Now, not, some of these are adding other things in there, but they're adding specific things, right? Gravity Forms is another plugin. Magento is an application. Event registration, X Theme Expert, WordPress WooCommerce development, right? So, and you can look at these 60K plus earned, 20K plus earned, 20K, 50K, 100K, 20, 30, 20, 40, 20. So there's plenty of money to be made in this niche. These guys are targeting specific niches, right? That's the big kind of objection people have. Is if I target a really small niche, there's not going to be enough work. Some niches that might be true, but if you find the right niches, right? And there's a lot more of them out there than you probably think. You can still, 60K, 100K, 20K, 50K, 40. And that's, spread among 10 developers here. How many K overall is that? Right? Maybe 500,000, something like that. So and that's just the first page here. So there's plenty of market here in just this WooCommerce area for you to get into. And so again, the first thing that you want to do is you want to take some time and think about and also research. And Upwork's a really great tool for doing research like this. Think about what specific end result do I want to start out delivering for clients. You don't have to do it forever. It doesn't have to be the only thing you ever do. But what do I want to start out with? Do I want to build e-commerce sites? Do I want to build social networks? Do I want to build forms? What is it that I want to build? Not what language do I want to operate in. Developers tend to think in languages. That's what I want to break you out of. Don't think in languages, think in end products. What's the end product that I want to deliver for people? A membership site, a 5-page business website, a menu website for restaurants, a real estate agent website. What is that? And then when you come up with 4 or 5 ideas, or 10, whatever, when you come up with those ideas, write those 10 ideas down, and then come over here and search for it how you would search if you were a client, right? WooCommerce, membership site, real estate agent website, or whatever, right? Come over here and try different keywords and so forth, and try to figure out, when you do those searches, then look at what comes up. Do some of these filters here and see what kind of money is being earned, right? If every developer or freelancer on that page that shows up is $0 earned, that might not be the best market to get into. You might want to look at one of the other things that you wrote down. But if you're something like this and you're getting 10K and 20K and 30K and 60K, well, then that might be a little bit better market to get into. Also, click into these and see, okay, what are what's their overview like? What tags do they have? What's their title like? What's their work history look like? That you're not necessarily going to be able to do anything with right away, but look at their portfolio. Okay, what tests did they take? ODS readiness tests, of course. Joomla, MySQL, WordPress, PHP 5. Okay. Actually, I wouldn't even put these on here. That's a low score. That would actually kind of work against you, but we'll talk about that later. But just kind of look at what they're doing here and sort of model that a little bit. And you don't have to look at just one. Look at all 10 of these here and see if you can spot a trend that all of these successful freelancers in this particular niche tend to be doing. Okay, so just kind of look at that and see if you can spot those. You'll probably find trends that they use the keyword in the title. They have it as a tag. It's probably in their description a little bit, that sort of thing. Okay, now once you've decided on that, then like we said, what you're going to do is start going out and getting that sort of work. Now, this particular class, we're not going to go into bidding on jobs or that sort of thing. We're focused on just building our profile. So that's what I'm going to stick to here. But along with building out your profile and looking to come up in these searches and so forth, you're also going to be out bidding on jobs. And when your profile is built the way that I'm going to have you built it, you'll be more appealing. As long as you make sure you're bidding on jobs related to the niche that you pick to start out with, you'll be more appealing to clients. You're going to come across as a specialist. This is what gives you the advantage, because people just, I can't even necessarily tell you why, but people just place more value and more belief in someone who markets themselves as a specialist versus a generalist. So someone who says something like web developer, right? If you are looking for a WooCommerce site and someone says, I'm a WooCommerce specialist, and then someone else says, I'm a web developer, you just automatically find the one that says, I'm a WooCommerce specialist more appealing, more believable, more likely for you to get what you want from that person. Because the very first question that you would ask someone who says, if you want a WooCommerce site and they say, I'm a web developer, the very first question that you would ask them is, do you know WooCommerce? When you specialize, you answer that question off the top. They don't even have to ask it because you're saying, I'm a WooCommerce specialist. So it just makes you more believable. So again, that's why we're looking and picking these niches like this. We're going to start small because we're going to use that specialist. We're going to lean on that specialist advantage when we don't have a portfolio, when we don't have a big long job history and all that sort of thing. We have to lean on the specialist side of things. And then, like I said, as we build up our portfolio and job history, now we can expand up. Now we have the portfolio and job history that gives us credibility and proof, and we can expand from being WooCommerce to being WordPress. Right? We can go up a level in terms of our niching. And then from there, I don't recommend that you ever just go web developer. Right? I feel like you should always specialize in some sort of end result or set of end results, but I think this is kind of perfect right here. WooCommerce, Gravity Forms, Magento, WordPress. So WordPress, WooCommerce, Gravity Forms, and then Magento. Like, it's not that I'm doing web developer, one blanket thing that covers everything. But now what I'm doing is expanding up one level from WooCommerce into WordPress, and then also different kind of specializations in WordPress, and then of course Magento. So that's kind of the approach that you want to take. But you need to start small. Start with a small niche that you can specialize in, so that you can work around the credibility issue of not having the job history in the portfolio. So that'll do it for this lesson. Again, as we go throughout the rest of this, we're going to talk about building our profile and how to build it in such a way to kind of fit with this strategy. So hopefully you found that helpful. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.